the thought of the pizza afterwards is keeping me alive, so it's all good. We like to support local. We like to support those who really care about every bit of business, not those that we're just a number. I am absolutely geeky about knowledge. Whenever comes like new stuff coming out, I'm like, wow, big googly eyes. Absolutely love it. By the time we're 35, okay, maybe 40, I'll give us up to 40. Everyone that I know has a sort of condition. I am multi-interested. I have so many areas of life that I want to discover.
Hello, welcome back. It's Seasonal Discussions. As always, the start of every episode, we don't have a prettier host. Instead, we just have pretty cool guests instead. I've been trying so hard to find someone else to come down and host these episodes. Okay. And no one wants to come and do it. I can't think why. But we're here. It's another one. A reminder, if you're new to the channel or to the audio, please click subscribe or follow in the descriptions down below. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it does a lot to help us and help our guests as well. Today's guest is pretty awesome. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Facebook, if you're on any form of social media, you've probably heard of Dr. Monika Gostic. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Trying so hard to keep the energy levels up for this time on a Friday.
Absolutely, but the thought of the pizza afterwards is keeping me alive, so it's all good.
Keeping going. I've already been asked, do I have recommendations for decent pizza takeaway restaurants afterwards? And all I've been thinking for the past 10 minutes is not Domino's, not Pizza Hut, not Domino's, not Pizza Hut.
Thank you. Yes, we do not like Domino's.
No, we don't like. To be fair, Joseph, I'm the same with any form of takeaway, coffees, anything. Avoid big chains, small, local, decent.
I mean, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I am the same. We like to support local. We like to support those who really care about every bit of business, not those that we're just a number.
Yeah, exactly. We like to care about those who, pay their taxes locally. Code, actually pay their taxes. How to get this podcast cancelled in one small, easy step. Before we go any further, confirming, where are you from so I don't get it wrong? Slovenia, not Slovakia.
Correct. Common misunderstanding. Most people don't know Slovenia exists only when there's football on and we kick Scottish ass. So there we go.
That's not hard. I wouldn't say that's a claim to fame just yet. Anyone can do that just now. There's Sunday league teams that could probably do the same thing. Football or rugby? What's your preference out of the two?
Rugby.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, that's everyone so far who I've asked that question to has said the same thing. Is Scotland that bad at football that everyone would rather watch the rugby instead?
No, I think just football generally as a sport does not excite me at all. I think in rugby there's a lot more happening.
Yeah.
In football, I just see men kicking a ball. For me personally, I'm more of a contact sport type of person.
Yeah.
I do roller derby. I used to do mixed martial arts, so that rugby is a lot more interesting.
You've already got my interest because you've brought up roller derby. I played for 7 years.
Hey.
I played for Aberdeen's men's team, the Granite City Brawlers as they were at the time.
Yeah.
I refereed, coached and announced for Granite City Roller Derby.
That's cool.
For 7 years. That was how I met my ex-wife. I played for Glasgow men's roller derby for a few years. I announced the Women's World Cup in 2014 in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow.
Men's World Cup in Calgary in 2016. Roller derby is a sport that not enough people seem to know about.
No.
Are you involved with it now, or was it?
I am very lightly at the moment.
Okay.
I first started off in Dundee.
Yeah.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
The
I don't
DRG.
know. Yes, I don't know how I figured out. I remember it was actually the pandemic lockdown.
Yeah.
And I remember my wee one and myself were going on a walk, and we saw this really cool chick on her skates, and she was just skating up and down in the middle of nowhere, obviously, because we were distancing.
Yeah.
And I came up to her and was like, I used to do roller skating, and that was basically my means of transport for my entire childhood, which I absolutely adore. And then I said, well, do you actually do something here? And she said, oh yeah, we've got a roller derby team. Wow, this is so cool. How do I get involved? So I started there. I went through the entire novice intake. So there's a whole course that you need to do. And from standing on quads for the first time and shaking to basically doing contact sport on skates, I was absolutely phenomenal. It was just that time of my life when I left Dundee to move to Aberdeen, so that I kind of had to double down on my hobbies
Yeah.
and focus on actually building a career as a scientist.
That's fair. I mean, there's amazing the amount of people who work in the sciences, teaching in STEM, who are actually a part of roller derby. There seems to be like this mentality of working in the sciences that lends itself quite nicely to a roller derby community.
We are unique individuals.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. So personality types, very, very different. But everyone that I say, I do roller derby to, they just look at me like, yeah, you look like the
So yeah, you fit. You do. You've got that right attitude and personality. You do fit. From all my time within it, yeah, I could see it. As soon as you mentioned it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
That fits. So like, so you double down. Let's go back into the science, your background a little bit more. You have PhD.
Yes.
Which you then followed up with a postgrad fellowship in Edinburgh. Is that right?
Yes.
What led then from Edinburgh to Dundee to Aberdeen? You've been around kind of like all over the place. What's the path that led you here?
Well, first of all, I have a bachelor's and a master's and a PhD.
Okay.
It's because I'm the overachiever. It's I think a sort of trauma response to the childhood when I felt like I was never good enough and accepted by the environment that I was in. And that is because of my funny personality, and I never fit in a box, and I still don't fit in a box. And now I use it as my marketing strategy, whereas before it was proving quite hard to try and work my place around people in my life. So I went into science because I was always interested about discovery. I am absolutely geeky about knowledge. Whenever comes like new stuff coming out, I'm like, wow, big googly eyes. Absolutely love it. Anything new, just give me. Knowledge acquisition is my life's mission. That is what I want to do. That is what I love to do. But yeah, I came to Scotland for a PhD. That was over 12 years ago now, and never left. Thank you, Scotland. I love you. It was quite a journey, and the person that I was back then is definitely not the person that I am now. And I'm really grateful for everything that happened to me and around me that helped me become who I am now. So from St Andrews University, where I did my PhD in genetics, I went on to Edinburgh University, where I did my postdoc. And the fellowship was sponsored by Cancer Research UK.
Okay.
It was obviously in cancer research.
Fair.
And because I was already back then very, very passionate about lifestyle, nutrition, everything that's got to do with human health that is not pharmaceutical, I was promoting that already as part of who I am as a person, but also with my friends. And we were getting together to work out together. We were doing meal preps together. It was a good time back then when I had the time to do all that. And then, in Edinburgh, my supervisor, she's absolutely phenomenal. And she looked at me and she was like, you know what? You are so passionate about this nutrition and how nutrition affects overall health and gut health. She says to me, why don't you, instead of working on skin cancer, which I was as a part of the group that I was in, why don't you develop a gut cancer model? And I just looked at her big eyes, like, oh my gosh, I love you.
Everything has aligned. Yes, please.
It was incredible. Honestly, I was so excited about that opportunity, and I had tons of meetings with really incredible leaders in gut cancer in general. However, pandemic started at that time, and it really ruined all the opportunities for any sort of, let's say, conclusions.
Yeah.
So we started off, but we could never finish.
Fair.
But that kind of really ties into the story of how I am now on the board of Business Beats Cancer here in Aberdeen, because I was like, well, I used to be funded by Cancer Research UK. I know how transformational this funding is and how important it is. So now, as a co-chair of Business Beats Cancer in Aberdeen, this really allows me to give back to the community and help future scientists to continue the loop. But after Edinburgh, I lived in Dundee the whole time because it was just a lot more happening. Yeah. And half cheaper than St Andrews.
Yeah. Dundee's always been a city that's on the rise, and certainly more affordable than some of the other places.
Absolutely. But I loved my time there. It really developed in the time that I was there for 8 years. And a lot of changes happened at that time, a lot of opportunities. But I felt as a business person, maybe I would say I wasn't there mentally yet the way that I am now, but also I didn't find the opportunities that I find in Aberdeen. I didn't feel that at that time the business community was as connected as we are here. So I lived there, and I went back to St. Andrews Uni, this time as a lecturer, associate lecturer, and I was teaching the new generations of biology students, which was quite exciting for me. It was good. I loved it. I really enjoyed teaching. I find it challenging enough to keep me on my toes. But the problem with academia is that it's not a stable environment.
Yeah.
So you either have funding or you don't have funding. And it's always like, oh, here's a 12-month contract. Oh, if you're lucky, here's an 18-month contract. Oh, well, we didn't find anyone yet to populate this position, so we'll extend your contract for 2 more months. Lucky you. And
stability.
yeah. At that time, I was a single mom. And I really couldn't afford being in an environment where I was constantly panicking.
Yeah.
Will I be able to pay the rent? Will I be able to provide for my child in the next, I don't know how many months? So that prompted me to start my business. And because I was already naturally in the environment of health and well-being and really interested in that, I have a personal story of losing over 4 stone, being an expert dieter, like, whatever I do really well.
Yeah.
So
It's like, whatever it is, I'm going to nail it.
Exactly. So when I was dieting, I did it really well until the point where I crashed and burned.
Yeah.
And that cycle of dieting and crashing and burning was continuously happening because I did what everyone tells you to do. I ate less and I exercised more. The calorie deficit theory, the laws of whatever, thermodynamics and all of that. And that's what I keep getting from a lot of professionals. So, you just need to eat less than you burn. And I was looking at myself. I'm like, I eat less than I burn. I lose weight for a while. Then I hit plateau, obviously.
Yeah.
Then I absolutely crash. My mental health deteriorated. My body was feeling weak. My energy was low. So I wasn't getting the results. Okay, yes, I lost some fat, but I believe now, looking back, that I also lost muscle mass and everything else with it because I didn't really understand it. I remember one day I felt absolutely miserable because my dinner was steamed chicken breast with steamed vegetable with absolutely no flavor.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went for a 5K run, and I was like, if this is my life, I am very, very sad right now.
I do not want this to continue.
It was not fun. But then I met a health coach, and at that time, health coaches weren't really a thing yet.
Yeah.
Mind you, that's like 20 years ago. So health coaches were not a big thing then. But she had a different approach to a lot of things health-wise. So I listened, and I was skeptical because I'm always skeptical as a scientist.
You have to be. It's in your nature.
Absolutely. Question everything. But there was something inside me that was saying, do you know what? Literally, you have nothing else to lose. You've tried everything else. You've tried solutions. You've achieved something, but you can't sustain your results. So, okay, what now? So I gave her a go, and we started working together, and she introduced the power of mindset to me. She introduced personal development. She introduced a lot of growth in the mind rather than just the body. I started thinking about relationship with food that I had, before then. I then realized that I actually had an eating disorder. I didn't realize I had because I was avoiding food.
Yeah.
And all of these kind of things started creeping in. And then suddenly I was like, but why do I feel a specific way when I eat some things? And then I feel in a different way when I eat other things. I mean, I see that exactly now with my child as well. Whenever she eats sweet and sugary stuff, she goes hyper and absolutely mental like a goblin. But then if she eats like a proper nutritious meal, she's nice and stable. Yeah. And the mood is also nice and stable. Yeah. So I started noticing these patterns with myself. Okay. And that took me into nutrition science. So after a while if we return back to my PhD and when I was starting my business when I was a teaching associate lecturer, I realized that, there's so many personal trainers out there. There's so many people who are giving advice on what's healthy, what's not. I mean, let's not get started on influencers and everything. Nowadays, you even find medical doctors who give nutritional advice without having any qualifications in nutrition at all, as in the States mostly. In the UK, there's a very different culture. But the internet in the world is saturated with all of this. So I thought to myself, well, I don't want to be in this environment. I don't want to be just one of the sea of many. I don't want to be lost in, I don't know, just a flood of wrong advice.
There would be just another number that's giving out the same advice to everyone and no one's really taking it in.
Exactly. So it's like, I need to do something different. And then I looked around myself and I was like, right. One thing that I noticed is that by the time we're 35, okay, maybe 40, I'll give us up to 40, everyone that I know has a sort of condition.
Yeah.
Right? Is it a chronic condition? It's pains and niggles, lower back pain, fatigue, brain fog.
Yeah.
And suddenly I started like, look at my family, never remembering growing up that my mother would be crashing on the couch after work every time because she was overworked and undernourished in the name of dieting. My granny had 7 coexisting chronic conditions when she died. My granddad had a stroke. My auntie had a cancer. My cousin has endometriosis.
Yeah.
There's literally everyone around me that I know has some sort of an issue. And I started looking into all of these things, and I noticed, one connection to all of that is gut health.
Yep.
And then the studies of microbiome came out. They've been coming out for a while, but they became popular.
Yeah, became a lot more prominent. People became more aware of them.
Yes, absolutely. And then suddenly the science started confirming what I've been saying the whole time. It's like, it's not you eating less. It's you needing to eat right.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And then the study started confirming that. Now we've linked dementia to the gut health. Now we've linked Parkinson's to gut health. Now we've linked even endometriosis to gut health. And the microbiome and however our body is connecting to all of that. So when I looked into microbiome and started advising people on eating to satisfy the microbiome, not just counting calories, things started shifting, and that's how I specialized in chronic conditions. Later on, as I developed into this niche, let's say, I started realizing that microbiome itself is affected by a lot of different factors. So it's not just what we eat. The nutrition part, that's what I focus on because that's what I know of the most.
Yeah.
But it's the level of stress that you're under. It's the movement that you do. I wasn't aware that physical activity physically changes the composition of your gut bugs. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, this is so awesome.
More knowledge to learn.
So it goes way beyond just burning the calories that you ate. And that, I suppose, 90s mentality that you need to exercise out whatever nonsense you've eaten is now shifting into, well, actually, it's about what you eat and how you eat it. Because if you're stressed and if you're on the go and if you, if you eat a meal that is, let's say, a lot of people snack on just fruit thinking that they're snacking on healthy stuff. Like, well, actually, even if you're just snacking, you want it to be balanced rather than just one type of thing. All of these things combined led me to where I am now, which is, I think I got about 8 business awards for everything from the business model to my course to the client care and to innovation in wellness industry. So it's been incredible. It's been very difficult, and it's not been a straightforward journey, but it's brought me to the point now where I'm sitting here on this very comfortable chair. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm genuinely now, with the knowledge that I have and with the experience I have, I'm making real life difference in people that truly need me. And I'm debunking myths as well around nutrition. And I'm helping everyone to break bad.
I think that breaking of tradition is a big thing for a lot of people, and breaking down those myths. Because so many people now will go online, they'll read something, and like you say, influencers. I've spoke many times on other podcasts and stuff in the past about the issues of influencers in this society and community as a whole just now. I think influencers have too much influence, if I'm honest. It's not good. And I think a lot of them are very irresponsible with their influence.
Yes.
You know, if you have that level of, and I mean, let's be honest, you do have a high level of online presence. There's a lot of people who are aware of you, who read through your stuff and who participate within your courses as well. But you're offering educated information to people. You're not just offering people something that you've read online. You're qualified. You have literally gone through, excuse the pun, hell to get to this point.
Yeah.
You know, that level of education, that much education, and even though it's ongoing, it can be torturous.
It's a lot. But again, I wouldn't change it
Yeah.
because it really shaped me into who I am today. And I don't call myself an expert. I never have, because what I do admit is that I know only a tiny bit of what is out there. There's so much out there. I am incredibly privileged to work for the University of Aberdeen and for them to support my business as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the employer could say, well, no, we don't want you to have your business. So
Yeah.
you choose, either you work for us or you don't work for
It's
us.
all or nothing. Be with us or be somewhere else.
Exactly. And they have the right to say that. But they never did. They actually really support me in this. And this gives me this unique opportunity to learn from my peers, learn from colleagues who've been in the fields for a lot longer than I have, to have a lunchtime break with them to discuss topics that I then could just put into my programs or into my coaching.
Yeah.
One example was earlier this year, we had a guest speaker from one of the European universities, and they presented their piece of research, which is, you know, several PhDs combined into one presentation. And they were showing how they were working with a specific bacteria in a specific probiotic, and they fed it to mice, and how mice that had Alzheimer's had gone through this treatment, and then they shown that actually not only that in some examples the Alzheimer's didn't progress anymore, but they also seen the changes in the cells on the cell level of those aggregates that are typical for Alzheimer's starting to be dispersed. So it's obviously too much to conclude, say, it cures Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
That is not true. But they've shown that the bacteria in our gut have the power to either start causing troubles or start reversing whatever it is there that needs to be sorted out. So we have this incredible opportunity inside of us, and I always call it, it's a microbiome. It's like a universe inside of us. And if you can think about the Star Wars, if you're a fan, you have the two opposing sides, the
light side and
baddies.
darks.
So the light side tends to be fed by, you know, the fiber and protein and hydration and movement and less stress and good sleep. But the dark side, well, that's the one I'm going to feed later on with pizza.
Yeah, that's the one. You need to just keep it happy every so often. Give it what it needs.
Absolutely. But the issue that we're having right now is that the dark side is influenced by the medication as well. You know, it tends to overgrow. And when we get antibiotics and we just get wiped out, then we have unequal rates of regrowth. And we really need to support the goodies. Hence why people keep saying, take the probiotics. It's because they're really helping you with regrowth rates. And because if one side grows too much, then they start causing this barrier. They start producing this barrier for the other side. And then the other side is kept tiny. And then you have this domination of the dark side in your gut, which can result in inflammation, which can lead to IBS or any other issues in the gut. So I don't want to go too sciencey on you.
No, you got it.
It's just so many awesome things that are happening. And as I said, I feel absolutely privileged that I can sit in the rooms where the latest science is being discussed, and I can draw some sort of connection between commercially available products, and I can implement that into my coaching. So that probiotics that they were talking about, all of my clients take it now.
Yeah. I think what you've said about the university supporting your own business, I think they probably see, you know, your business is still connected to what you do with the university. It's not like it's, you're working in the sciences and you're running a retail shop selling bath bombs or something on the weekends. You know, they're connected to each other. And I think that can only benefit the university, as well as what you do at the university benefiting your actual business outside. There's obviously it's that balance, almost what you're talking about with the internal balance. There's a light side and a good side to both. You need to find that balance of both for things to work effectively. I think it's something that a lot of people need to adapt. Do you find that the stress and sleep is a bigger issue than a lot of people take on? Like some of the clients who come on, do you think a lot of them are too focused on that, the numbers, the calories, what things say, as opposed to the external factors that impact it as well, like stress and sleep?
Absolutely, yes. And again, that's one of the things that we need to unlearn. And it's really hard when you've been focusing your entire adult life or even longer on something, and you've been told something, you've been following a specific thing, and now you're told, well, actually, that's not the right thing. It's hard and it's confusing. And I think this first step of trying to unlearn something is the most complicated step, and that's why most people quit. Because they're like, well, no, that's what I've been taught, and that's what I'm going to stick with. For example, I have quite a lot of clients that I call Slimming World survivors. So they come to me and I say, well, but this is what we've been taught. And I said, but how's that working for you?
Yeah, so if that's what you've been taught, why are you here with me now?
Exactly. So clearly it's not working for you. And I personally believe that there is a place for clubs like that. However, the education that they give there is out of date. So it hasn't progressed yet. And for me personally, associating food and food groups with sins is just, or point systems, I don't know. Personally, I have an issue with that. But that's just personal opinion, not expert opinion.
Personal opinions are fine before people go off. Everyone has them.
There you go. But I have a lot of clients coming from that environment of dieting, of counting calories, of counting literally everything to me. And it's like, right, we're just going to not count anything for now. Yeah. First thing that we're going to look at is your behaviors. And then they look at me like I'm crazy. Right? What do you mean? So, well, I need to see how your day goes. And then I need to see when do you eat and what do you eat and how do you eat. And they're like, why does that matter? I'm like, well, I mean, if you have 300 hours, I can go into all the science behind that. But there's quite a solid evidence that the timing of meals matters. And it's been shown that the exactly same meal and the same amount eaten either in the morning or in the evening is being processed differently by our body. Yeah. Because it's different bugs that are active at different times of the day. Yeah. So it does matter when you eat. It does matter whether you move or whether you're stressed or whether you are eating on the go. Yeah. All of that actually does matter. But I'm not going to start with just count calories. I'm going to start with looking at you, seeing how you lead your life, and then making a strategy that fits into that instead of trying to fit you into a strategy that I thought of. Yeah, because everyone's different. And it's not just individuals, but what you say about unlearning habits, it's cultural as well for a lot of it. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, UK, it's breakfast, lunch, big meal in the evening. Yes. Am I right in saying that's not like back in Slovenia, it's completely different? Well, not completely different, but it's more bigger meal in the afternoon, lighter meal in the evening. Yes. Because obviously you're a bit more active primarily during the day. Absolutely. Therefore, if your bigger meal is at a point where you're active, there's a lot more activity within your body as everything else. So cultural impacts must have a big deal with it as well. Absolutely. And then you've got cultures from like the South Europe and African cultures and South Americas as well, where you see it's so hot that there's barely anything ingested, consumed during the day because it's just absolutely torture to even think about eating. Yeah. And then as it cools down in the evening a little bit, that's when the feast starts. Yeah. So the majority of their stuff is eaten in the evening. But once we come from our different cultural backgrounds, then to the UK, to Scotland, and start eating sandwiches for lunch and crisps. Yeah. And definitely my downfall. Yeah. And start kind of behaving the way that people here are behaving, we start seeing results in a negative way on our bodies. When I first came to the UK, I refused to participate in that. And in the first, I think, couple of months, I lost a stone. Yeah. Because I was just like, I didn't want to eat the way the people eat here. And now after 12 years and a lot of stress and, having a full-time job and then a full-time business and being a full-time mom and trying to be an athlete, you become a little bit more complacent and it shows. Yeah, I know that feeling all too well. I am currently in a stage of trying to level off my eating habit. I think that's something I've had to try and do, is adjust my own approach to food. Yes.
It's not just looking at the calories. It's not just looking at everything. It's going, right, hang on. What am I eating? Why am I eating it? And am I eating it at the right? Like I refuse to now eat anything after 7 o'clock at night because I just think I am so sedentary at that time. It hits 7 p.m. and I'm like, I will not move again for the rest of the evening until I have to take the dog out at 9 o'clock.
But I think that's a good approach. You know, you need to find something that works for you. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. They follow some people online. They follow this brushed fitness gurus that look perfect on social media. But they don't realize that they are not them.
Yeah.
And they live a different life. So even, for example, I follow a lot of personal trainers and they follow me. And we recognize that I am a mother, I am in my 40s, and I have a lot of other responsibilities. Therefore, my day in my life and my priorities are a lot different to a 20-something-year-old who's just out of college or gets his first job, and they have all the time in the world to train and meal prep.
Yeah, 5 days a week to go to the gym whenever they want to, 3 hours spare in the morning to cook everything that they need for the week.
And I was there. I was one of them.
Yeah.
You know, I had a six-pack. I was at a peak of my athletic performance. I used to compete for Scottish powerlifting. So I was pretty good at that as well. And then things change. And I just wanted to keep up with everything that I was doing, but my body refused to. And my body was just like, no, I am not continuing that because that is not my priority right now.
Yeah.
Hormones start shifting, especially if you're a woman. They start shifting in men as well, but it's just not as prominent.
Yeah.
And things definitely take priority. For example, taking your children to all of their after-school hobbies, which, you know, again, people without children don't have to do.
Yep.
So I think what is really wrong out there is all this demonizing foods and demonizing behaviors and blaming people for doing something if it's different to what you're doing. I think what needs to become a lot more prominent is admitting that we're all very different.
Yeah.
And finding strategies that fit into your own lifestyle. So I was recently on a virtual book launch by a friend of mine who has written a book called Food and Fire. And I was one of the advisors for that. And I was on the virtual book launch, and I said something that clearly resonated with a lot of people because they kept saying it afterwards. So we need to start viewing food as a friend rather than an enemy. And I see a lot of women, especially in their 40s and 50s, so my age, coming from the 90s and 80s, we see food as enemy, you know, and the culture is still taking us into just eat less. Fasting for crazy hours, skipping meals, don't eat carbs because they're your enemies. All of these kind of messaging in people's heads, and they're still taking that with them. And for example, when it was a 40-something-year-old lady started working with me, and she said, well, I don't know what's happening because I literally eat twice a day and I'm still not getting the results that I want to be getting. And then I put her on 4 meals a day, and she was like, I can't understand, why am I losing weight, eating more than I did before? I feel fantastic, I've got more energy. And it's like, well, because we are fueling your body, and your body's now getting optimized nutrition. It's getting what it needs rather than starving itself and just running on fumes. Right? Because the biggest mistake that people do is when they have their eating patterns and they go on a diet, they just start eating less of the same thing.
Yeah.
And again, my famous sentence, don't eat less, eat right.
Yeah.
And then you can continue enjoying big portions. And it has been shown that calories in this example don't really matter.
Yep.
That people have been eating calories that are higher to what their daily consumption should be. And they weren't gaining weight because of the way that those calories were consumed and what it doesn't causes your body to do as a result of that.
Yeah. It's everything tailored to individuals.
Yes.
Is a massive thing. And it's not just in eating habits. I think everything needs to come down to that. Sleeping habits.
Yes.
Getting up in the morning. Like me and Zara, partner in life, we are totally different when it comes, similar in eating habits, but sleeping habits, never going to be the same. I don't know if you're the same. You're an early morning person.
No.
No?
No, I like my sleep, always have. Yes, I prioritize sleep over everything. I will even cancel a client if I need to sleep.
Teach me your ways, please,
Well-
because I sleep. No, what is this sleep you speak of?
If I don't get at least 8 hours a day, I don't function. You don't want to be next to me. Genuinely, sleep is... I prioritize that over everything. It is absolutely essential. And quite a lot of times, my students ask me, colleagues at work ask me, friends in my life ask me, how do you do it? Because I just run so many things. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I do it because, first of all, I do prioritize sleep. So I'm rested. And that's such an important part. Second of all, I fuel my body. I don't starve it. So this morning, I just put on my social media, I didn't want to have breakfast.
Yeah.
I really didn't feel like eating this morning. My body was like, I just wanted to have my cup of coffee and be back in my...
Get the caffeine in.
Exactly, and be my hermit mode. But I know intellectually that if I hit at least 25 grams of protein within about half an hour waking, that actually increases the consumption or the burning mode of my body, of how it burns calories, by about 10% throughout the day. So let's say if my body burns 2,000 calories throughout the day just existing, it will now burn 200 extra, so 2,200, by just having 25 to 30 grams of protein in the morning. So that is a revelation that not everyone knows. And if you start doing that one thing, just having a breakfast full of protein, that is going to help you in such a massive way. And after I had that breakfast, that I forced myself to eat, basically. But after that, my brain kicked in. I started to get on all the points. So I had quite a lot of marking to do right now because there's thesis submissions at the university, and I have marking to do for that. And I'm preparing for an event tomorrow that is happening in Aberdeen, and I'm one of the speakers in a menopause event, and I'm doing a workshop. So I was creating all the worksheets and everything that I wanted to be a part of that. So within the hours of working, I managed to do so many different tasks. Yeah. And that is because I fueled.
You fueled it properly.
I slept, I fueled,
yeah,
and I made sure that my body feels absolutely best in any possible way.
Yeah. It's one of the best, like, understanding your own body is such a big thing as well. It's like, it's not just understanding that you're different, it's trying to understand why you're different to someone else. Yeah. And like you said, there's too many people just look at the generic things. That person is in this shape. I want to know what they do because I want to look exactly like them.
And that will never work.
It's never going to. Well, prior to you coming on, I have done little bits of research. So, those who have seen these episodes before will know research is not my friend. And by not my friend, I mean research and I do not get on. There's a reason I only ever went to college and never got a degree in anything other than chatting nonsense. I've taken notes for some people before, and it usually ends up as just like a half page, just a little bit. I've got 2 pages of notes sitting in here. So I'm just going to go through them and we can confirm everything. So PhD, foundation in microbiology, genetics and cancer research. Fair?
Yes.
Accurate? Fair. Perfect. Postdoctoral fellowship at University of Aberdeen, Edinburgh.
Fair.
We've confirmed. Currently a teaching fellow in IMS at the University of Aberdeen.
Correct.
Excellent. Known for your balanced, authentic, deserving philosophy.
Absolutely correct.
Possibly one of the best taglines I think I've ever seen for a business,
Breaking
by the
Bad.
way.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bad. I've only ever watched that TV series once, and it's now just dawned on me that.
Well, it's essentially the story of my life. I wasn't feeling safe financially.
I thought you were going to say you were a meth cook in a caravan somewhere.
No, there's a tiny change, okay? But I wasn't feeling safe financially. I did something about it. It's just instead of, cooking meth with my science knowledge, I started baking cakes that you can eat for breakfast.
Oh, there you go.
That's how my business started.
Was that also in a caravan in the middle of the desert or slightly sanitary conditions?
A little bit more sanitary, but, let's not go there.
We've got 6 independent business awards for coaching alone, which is probably up to like double figures by now. Excellence Award in Wellness Innovation was in 2024. Featured on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Scotland TV programme Food Fest.
Yes.
Look at that. TV stars coming in. I'm going to add that to the bio when we finish this. As seen on TV. Runs own nutrition and wellness business. The co-chair of Business Beats Cancer. So you're not just a part of the board, you're the co-chair of it, which I'm going to go into a little bit more shortly. Speaker for Aberdeen Health and Wellbeing Festival. head of nutrition at Nones.
Oh, well, that was for a while. Yes, it's a startup with a fantastic idea. But then,
Sort of right.
yes, so it happened for a while, but then they went off. So that role is terminated. But it was really interesting, and I enjoyed my time there. Yes.
Scientific advisor for Lord Bell and Real Her Brands.
Yes.
Still ongoing. See, you say you have just the job and the business. There's a lot more than just the job and the business going on here.
That I do, I just do them.
Mother and aspiring athlete. Obviously, we mentioned the powerlifting, which, I scared when you walked in, thought I was going to get thrown out the window. Competes in powerlifting and referees competitions as well. Is the competing not enough? You just want to tell everyone else as well when they're rules knowledge.
No. So when I first started off, Scottish powerlifting was also in a different place than it is now.
Yeah.
And it runs on volunteers like many organizations do. So I felt such a strong connection to the sport. The sport really enabled me to pick up the pieces from life. I was feeling all sorts of disjointed after I became a single mom. I was by myself in a foreign country with a baby, doing PhD, therefore not qualified for any financial support from any councils or anything because, well, you're a student, so you don't need money.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you most need money.
I was going to say that's when you need more, but yeah, sure.
So it was extremely stressful time of my life. I have holes in my memory because I genuinely don't know how I managed through, and I'm extremely grateful to people who were in my life to help me get to where I am. But that was the make or break moment.
Yeah.
It was either I go into alcohol and something else, or I pick up the bar in the gym, and that's what I did.
You had a choice between two bars. You chose the heavy one.
I did, exactly. I like that. I'll take that tagline from now on. But it's genuinely that. It was such a random thing. I was scrolling through Facebook, and at that time, Facebook was still giving you suggestions, if you remember, to join groups.
Follow this group. Join here. Join there.
Yeah, that was it. And one of them was Powerlifting Women. And it was an international group. And I was scrolling through that, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I was like home after a long day, baby sleeping, and I was just doom scrolling. So I joined the group, and I started lurking, and I started watching, and I started seeing all these women like really feeling empowered and feeling strong and showing off their muscles. And it wasn't about being skinny, which was the environment that I was brought up.
Yeah.
Especially like Central and Eastern Europe. It's all about the woman being skinny, which leads to so many eating disorders that a lot of my friends have. But let's not go there. So I was really impressed with what type of personality those women were exhibiting. And I said, well, it's something that I might be interested in. So there was... one of them was doing a giveaway for a free program, and I said, you know what, I'm going to enter it just in case, and I won it. And that was my first ever powerlifting program, and then I went to the gym. I was like, oh, do deadlifts. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. It was so scary. It was so weird. Because it was online coaching, I also didn't have the coach right next to me. But, I recorded myself, I got some feedback, and a little bit by a little bit, I started gaining confidence. Realized that actually I'm quite strong. Never knew that I was. Then I got my official powerlifting coach who was with me for a while, and really developed into a competitive powerlifter, which was absolutely fantastic. It gave me focus. It gave me something to look forward to. It gave me numbers to look up to, for example, what I want to achieve in terms of lifts. And it's a sport, again, that is not you competing against others. Yeah. It's always you versus you. And that was really what attracted me there, because I wasn't measured against others. I was measuring against my previous performance.
Yeah, success is always achieved against yourself as opposed to anything else.
Yes, and I absolutely love that. I never considered myself anything special. I was not. I think I won one competition. I had a couple of them, regional ones, that I was in top 3. But that is all, and that is good enough for me. I didn't want it to grow into anything else. But in that time, as I grew a bit better in the sport itself, they needed volunteers. So I did my course in the refereeing, and I became a referee. So my weekends were filled with traveling across Scotland to different gyms, spending beautiful sunny days among sweaty people, and refereeing for Scottish powerlifting, which was absolutely amazing. It was really, really good. But now, similar to other stuff, other things took priority, and I've changed direction. It's fantastic on our organization to join, and it
says a lot about the individuals as well, because again, connecting it back to roller derby for the start, there was a referee who was based in Perth, I believe. I think it was Perth she was from, who was also a powerlifter, Irene Halliburton.
Oh yeah, I know her. Tink.
Yeah, Tink. There you go.
I know her. Yes.
Yeah, I've spent many a day in a sports hall with Tink over the years, and her best pal Katie is one of my longest friends that I've had for over 10 years now. So it draws a special kind of person, I think.
I will send this episode to her, so you got to mention on a podcast.
Oh no, I haven't spoke to Tink in a few years. She'll probably just look at it and go, I'm not listening to him. I had to listen to him for years when he was announcing roller derby. I'm never doing that again. So it's just, there's so much that goes on with you. What is, to you now, what is the most important thing that you make time for yourself? Because you've got so many interests and hobbies. Like you say, you prioritize sleep for rest, but when you're awake, if you're not doing something work related, what is your thing? What is most important to you outside of that?
That is such a difficult question. I genuinely don't think I can answer it. As you've identified, I am multi-interested. I have so many areas of life that I want to discover. Like I said in the beginning, it's the acquisition of knowledge. There's always something new to learn and something different to learn. And I find that just lights me up. And when I'm not working at the university, which I absolutely love, it's hard to understand, because a lot of people have jobs they're not happy with. When I landed here in Aberdeen University, I didn't know what I was going to get into. But through time, I was given opportunities to develop myself as a person, but also develop myself as an educator and as an entrepreneur. And I really came into this environment and I flourished. And I can't say that for every environment that I've been in. So it's been transformational for me, absolutely. So hint, hint, if you want to go to Aberdeen Uni, you should go. Shameless plug in there.
Yeah, quite right too.
Yeah, but equally, when I'm not at my work, I tend to do projects with people. You know, I like to do collaborations. We do stuff that are interesting, but everything is intertwined. Everything comes back to lifestyle medicine. Everything comes back to nutrition. Everything comes back to just improving yourself as a human being on any level that might require that time. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, and sometimes you just need to be a couch potato. Yes, and that's okay.
I have a lot of those times. Although saying that now, I've started playing golf a lot more lately. That's my closest I get to not being a couch potato. That and walking the dog 2 times a day. I do 2. Sarah does 1. She gets the fun afternoon one where they get to meet friends. Before we wrap things up, I want to go into a little bit more with Business Beats Cancer. So obviously that was a massive thing that took part in Aberdeen this year. Raised a phenomenal amount of money for cancer research. Hosted, I believe, on the night by Mr. Stevely, Graham Grado himself.
Yes.
What a man. What a unique individual. How many of you are there on the board? I believe there's yourself.
Neil is the other co-chair.
Yeah.
Well, there's 8 and 9 of us, so I think we could
Johnny
spend the
Davidson
whole...
from Studio 10's in there.
Yes, and Brenda Hector from Action Coach, and Graham Smith as financial advisor, Anurag, so from Superhuman and You. There's so many amazing individuals from Aberdeen that are part of this board, and we are actively recruiting. So if anyone would like to join, we do need people to handle our social media. But we were put together by Genevieve. She's our relationship manager, and she's incredible. Without her, we would not be where we are. So, I mean, the place on the stage should really just be hers, because she is so deserving of all the recognition. the whole idea of Business Beats Cancer is not new. It's only new in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any board in Aberdeen until last year when we formed the board. So Neil and myself, we were one amongst the first ones to join with Brenda and Graham, and that's why we divided the functions. I was saying, the chairing part to me is a familiar thing because I used to be a chair on the board of Dundee Charity, Dundee International Women's Centre. So I have experience in third sector, I have experience in chairing, I have experience in being a part of the board and governance and delegating tasks, my favorite. But also seeing that bigger picture, a lot of times it's not just about being in the moment and doing the stuff there, but it's always like we need someone who keeps bringing us back to, what's the whole point? What's the whole point? What are we trying to achieve? I think as a board, we are really well positioned and we have incredible individuals who are all contributing in incredible ways. And together we work really well, which I'm pleased because you don't get that in every organization. So it was quite a nice thing to start. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into, quite honestly, and none of us really organized a massive event like this before. So when we started organizing the gala event for fundraising for Cancer Research UK, it was, basically baby steps, learning. It's like, okay, what do we need? Oh, a venue, right? Okay, let's find the venue.
First step, where are we going?
So it was a lot of hard work, I'm not going to lie, very frequent meetings and some disagreements and all that. It's all the normal stuff that comes with everything. But we are very pleased with the first event. We raised over £52,000. It's not as large as some of the other charities are raising, but it's also not a small amount. And
it's a lot of money.
We are incredibly grateful to Aberdeen business community for trusting us, for being a part of what we stand for, and we each have our own story. We have stories to tell why we joined us. I already shared that I used to be funded by Cancer Research UK, so I know where the money goes. I've seen it firsthand. There are scientists at Aberdeen Uni that are funded by Cancer Research UK, and I know exactly what they're researching, and I know where this money is going. But then beyond that, we all have someone who's been touched by a cancer story one way or another. And we want to hear less of those stories. We want to make sure that people who are around us, starting with Aberdeen and the Shire, to really be as healthy as possible. And that's a whole part of my mission, also why I do my business, why I started my consultancy, why I'm so loud about all the misconceptions and all the things that people do to harm their health in being, they actually think that they're doing the right thing, but in the long run, they're not. So I think, again, Business Beats Cancer fits into the story of Breaking B.A.D. completely. It is about this deservingness and authenticity that I really want to bring forward, not just to Aberdeen, but to whole Scotland. And there are projects in the background happening with my business that are going hopefully up to policy level on not just council level, but also national level. But in terms of Business Beats Cancer, we are right now, I think, meeting next week again, creating already the next event. We're trying to figure out who to bring in as entertainment. So that's going to be the next thing. This year we had Red Hot Chili Peppers, which was fabulous. And we want to stay local. We want to stay Scottish. We want to show that the whole goal of what we do is to keep the brains within Scotland, keep the money within Scotland, and really help promote the cancer research to the point where we can honestly beat cancer together.
If they are looking for more volunteers and more people to step in, I've done fundraising stuff in the past for Friends of Anchor. As you mentioned earlier, people have been touched by cancer in the past. Lost my father to it last year. It's definitely something that's quite close to the hearts for this side of the business. So if there's anything Season Media can do to help out or be involved with, don't hesitate to give us a shout. It's on camera now, it's official, it's confirmed. We are happy to help out and do things. So before we wrap up, what's next for you? What do you see on the horizon for yourself? I'm not talking 5 years' time. I'm talking between now and the end of 2025. How do you see things progressing, and what's next on the horizon for you?
Well, this year I've been quite quiet with recruitment of new clients purposefully because I have been reshuffling my business model a little bit. I was primarily B2C, I was primarily serving customers directly and clients, but I am now moving more towards B2B model, where I have created packages and self-standing, hands-off solutions that I could sell to personal trainers. For example, I've been working in close collaborations with VR Fitness, with Valentina and Ricardo, who are at Bridge of Dawn. They're fabulous. Yeah. And we've put together a menopause program, lifestyle medicine program for women with menopause and chronic conditions. As the scientist I am, gather the data, obviously, throughout the 6 months of the program. And one of my summer placement students analyzed this data and created a fantastic dashboard where we can now click on the participant and see exactly how within the 21 days, not even 6 months, within the 21 days, the symptoms of menopause reduced dramatically and the quality of their life improved dramatically. So evidence-based is everything I do. Yeah. So the first thing that I'm now doing is I'm packaging this set course, but instead of 21 days, I'm making it 6 weeks, and we'll hand them to people who want to work with women with menopause but can't address all the aspects. Yeah. So personal trainers have their own limitations. I have my own limitations. People who work with stress have their own limitations. But if we put all of that under one roof and say, right, you do the training, you know that you need to work on strength training with women who are coming towards menopause, then you give them my course in the background as a supplement to learn on nutrition, to make these changes, to really understand what's happening in their body. And together you have incredible value product that you can charge premium prices for.
There you go. There's so much going on that you will probably never have time to do anything else ever again.
Well, that's a good problem to have. It makes me happy to have my mind occupied, but it also makes me happy that I am making a difference in my community, because that's what it's all about. I don't want to be just business. Yeah. I genuinely want to see a shift in community health, and I want to see a shift in national health, because right now we're not in a good place. We're not getting support from NHS because they physically are not capable of supporting the needs that we have. And also the whole world at the moment, where we're going with the politics and the price increase of medication and everything that's happening. I think if I teach people to self-manage and self-advocate, that is a massive goal in my life, and I would really like to achieve that.
Well, if you watching this or listening to this are needing help, guidance, advice, anything at all, the links to Dr. Monika's programs and to your website will be down below in the comments, alongside links to the Facebook page and to LinkedIn as well if you are on. Last but not least, do you have any recommendations for anyone that you would like to see on a future episode of Seasonal Discussions?
Wow, there's so many awesome people in Aberdeen.
If you have a list, we will take a list via email afterwards. But we aim to tell stories, and we want to tell people's stories. So if there's anyone you think has a wonderful story that deserves to be shared, or a story that you want to know more about, this is the place for them to come and do it.
There are many, many people, but right now the first that jumps into my head is one of my colleagues from Aberdeen University, who's also in entrepreneurship, who is Heather May Morgan, and she's my inspiration. She is very active on LinkedIn as well, and has fantastic presence, incredible energy, and is just so selfless in giving her time, her support. It goes beyond academia, just like with me, and she's involved in a lot of interesting projects around Aberdeen, so I think you might want to listen to what she's got to say.
There you go. The call has been put out. You will be tagged in the post down below. Now you've got no choice. You have to answer it. If you have any suggestions for anyone else out there that you would like to see on Seasonal Discussions, get in contact with us direct. info@sznmedialimited.co.uk. Don't forget, it's free to support the channel and the company by simply clicking subscribe or follow. Whatever you want to do, share the episode around. Dr. Monika, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're going to let you go escape and get your pizza.
Yes.
We'll see you again next Monday for the next episode. Thanks for watching.